All right, guys, hey, welcome in to today's lesson on block or bubble letters, how to do block and bubble letters. I do this for all ages, all the way from kindergarten all the way up to high school, can still be challenged with block or bubble letters. For my little kids that just start, I'm gonna start out with a little basic, kind of a 1 or 2 step process, and then I'll give you some really advanced ways to do block and bubble letters, even getting into like graffiti style, which is really cool. So let's get this aside and get it going right away. So the first thing I'm gonna do is pick, I'm gonna pick 2 letters. I'm gonna just pick an A and a W, we'll say. Try to get a little variety between the two. I'll divide my paper up. Let's do block letter on this side and bubble letter on this side. So I always ask my kids, what does a block look like, or what shape does a block look like? Most of the times they will say like a block or like a square or a rectangle. So block will be on that side. We'll say bubble. What shape does a bubble look like? What shape does a bubble look like? And most of them do some sort of circle or like a bubble. So as long as you have that basic idea and you can write letters, so obviously practice on writing your letters really well. So we'll have an A and a W. I do them both the same with a little trick and a twist. So the block letters, you actually want to make the letter and trace over them like a block or like a rectangle or kind of like a square, so that there are points. And when I say points, I mean the corners, so that there actually is a point to each of the corners or each of the edges, that there's a point to it. When you're doing the bubble letter, you still want to trace over the whole letter as a starter, as a practice. You still want to trace over, but you don't want any points. You want it to be more round, like a bubble or like a circle. So out of all of them, now some letters, have a little bit more point to it. Some letters are a little bit more like a line. Some letters, like an O or say like a B, kind of have some of those natural curves to them, but you could still do those in a block letter. Like if I had an O, which is probably the most challenging one, you could still trace over it with blocks and in the middle with a block. And then what a lot of people do is then they erase this middle part into them because they want it to, I guess, to look a little bit more realistic. Some of the letters that have those little holes in them, not all the letters have those holes, but sometimes it's nice to go back in that small hole, like in the O, like in the B, with, if I was doing a block, I would do a block. If I was doing a bubble, then I would do the bubble. The block would obviously look more like a block, and then around the outside it would have, kind of those edges on there, so it's a little bit more sharp. Now the possibilities are really endless with how many things you can do with block and bubble letters, and then kind of changing them even with doing cursive or kind of graffiti style. But there's so many different kinds and so many different options. Any object, they have so many different logos and different ideas. This is kind of a little bit more curvy, but it still has some of those block letters too, but a little bit more bubbly. This is almost like a cursive style, so it has some of that little bubble letter in them. But even, if you get really close, they still have a lot of those bubble letters, and everything that we see, in a daily, has either block or bubble or kind of a little combination of both. And then the better you get, the more you can start adding 3D and graffiti style and just creating, different kinds of logos and ideas, from your name even. But there's lots and lots of cool variety of ideas. So I want to show you some of those, and just a random variety of letters, which I think could really help kids get some much different ideas just by combining, or outlining or doing different patterns or borders in them, just with a lot of different materials. You can use paint with it, You know, you can use marker, you can use oil pastels or crayons, you know, a lot of different varieties. All right, so really the possibilities are endless for things that you can do and the amount of creativity that you can put into these. So try to challenge yourself as always. Another thing, as always, make sure to hit the like button. That's how I know you're liking this video. Make sure to comment below on maybe your favorite style of letter that you can do. Put that in the comments below and share this video. That's how we know which videos are getting the most views and everything, that most ones you like, and any other videos you want to know, put that also in the comment section below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and continue to watch more, and thanks a lot for viewing, guys.